Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Facette. On this episode, we get to meet Phosphorescent. Phosphorescent is the pseudonym of singer, guitarist, songwriter Matthew Houck, who has been releasing music for quite a while. I know I've been a fan of his since around 2007 when his record Pride came out, which is sort of a great little dreamy, gothy, dark DIY folk record. But it's been really great seeing Matthew kind of up the ante with each Phosphorescent release. Now this year, back in the spring, he put out his newest Phosphorescent record called Revelator. And I'll admit, we recorded this chat kind of more around then, but life stuff has kept this episode sort of circling the upload button for many different varying reasons, but we're finally doing it. And my apologies to Matthew, who I'm sure does not care because he is a kind and gracious person, as is evidenced in this chat. But it's finally coming out right now. You're listening to it right now. It's about to happen right now. In this chat, we talk all about Revelator, get into the weeds with it, the ins and outs of it, songwriting, themes, production, musicianship, even the fact that it includes the first Phosphorescent album track not written by Matthew at all. It was actually written by his partner, and we talk a bit about that, as well as some other interesting inspirations that kind of fueled this record. We talk about more too. It's a really nice, warm, inviting chat with a guy who is super talented and also nice, warm, and inviting. So thank you for listening. This is me meeting Phosphorescent.
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So hi, Matthew. Thank you for coming and hanging out for a little bit today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We should say you are here. I invited you here because you have a brand new Phosphorescent record coming out called Revelator, which is out April 5th on Verve. Your first for Verve, actually.
That's right.
It has been a minute since C'est La Vie, which was your last record of original material, about 6 years. I was surprised to see.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've been through a bit of a time warp, so it's a little strange.
Yeah.
How are you faring these days on the precipice of a new original release?
I think I think I'm faring pretty well. Yeah, you know what? It is actually funny. It's the numbers on those releases. It was C'est La Vie came out at the end of 2018, like the very end, and then I finished this record in last year. You know, it takes a year for it to kind of come out, almost about 9 months. So for me, it's really only been about 4, but it is weird to even then that seems like a lot because it doesn't outside of those 2 years that was weird for everybody. You know, I feel like yeah, I don't feel like it's been like a pause at
Yeah,
all. You know.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you found ways to stay busy, and I mean, you toured C'est La Vie quite a bit, and then the pandemic happened, but then you had like covers you put out, and you were always kind of doing something, so it didn't really feel like Phosphorescent went away. Um, but yeah, it's been shockingly almost 6 years since the
Yeah.
last album. So here we
Yeah.
are, a few days, really, 1 week from release. Do you get nervous still at all at these kinds of times?
Um, yeah, you know, yeah, I think I do. I, th- uh, yeah, you know what? If I have the time to sit and think about it, I definitely do get nervous. But weirdly, or not weirdly, I guess it's a good thing. Things have been so really busy ever since since I finished it, that it hasn't really had um, yeah, it hasn't had a minute. I am looking forward to seeing what happens. Yeah.
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 And I mean, you're putting it out April 5th, and then the tour starts like roughly a month later. So it's kind of nice though, because you have like a month for it to sort of marinate with people. Um,
Yeah, I would.
you know,
Yeah, exactly. I wish that the records could come out quicker and you
mm,
could actually leave. more time for them to marinate before you go out on the road. You know what I mean? I think it was even pushing it to get a month,
Yeah.
to say like let's hold off on some of the touring. Because yeah, I always feel like it's a funny thing that yeah, you go out even before the record comes out sometimes, right? You're already out on the road, and then this is what I've done in the past anyways. And it definitely feels like yeah, people really have a chance to hear the thing after a certain amount of time has passed, and then you've already been on the road for a year. And that can also be good because you're maybe really kind of on top of your game after being on the road for a year or so. But yeah,
Yeah.
I I'm hoping that a little bit of distance between, and also this is the longest I've ever had where the record was finished and the label, just pushed the release date back and back because they wanted to do whatever that is that like labels do. Um, so yeah, like I've been living with this record for gosh a while now. I finished it back in July, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, so then it's been done for like 9 or 10 months. I mean, how long roughly, when would you say roughly it started taking shape?
I can tell you exactly when the music started taking shape, and that would have been in February of last year.
Hmm.
So yeah, booked some sessions, and booked just 4 days of sessions with some people, several of whom I had never met before and never worked with before, but a couple that I had, and just had this sort of core group of four people plus me, um, to record these songs live, in a room together,
Hmm.
um, and roll tape on the first time, first take, like roll tape on the first time that they've heard the song. So because I feel like that is there's a certain kind of freedom and sort of inspirational like magic that happens during that time that I don't think you can get again,
Hmm.
once everybody starts getting familiar with how a thing goes, and you can kind of suck. I feel like these things can have the life sucked out of 'em fairly quickly. I just that's I don't really like rehearsing. I like to kind of capture the spontaneity of stuff.
Yeah.
And then of course I have months and months and months to suck all the spontaneity out. I mean, but at least the core of it is by and large, like for sure something from those sessions remained in the final version of all the songs. It
Yeah.
gives a good fresh sort of framework to work off of, and then yeah, and then I end up uh doing things to them for so yeah, but start to finish, as far as recording this thing, it was right at 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so wait, so do you usually write lyrics before all the music starts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm finding, doing these talks that tends to be less common than I think people think it is.
Right. I will. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right, because this was probably the first time that I booked these sessions before I was truly prepared.
Hmm.
And so there was moments of a couple tunes where I was um singing not finished lyrics.
Yeah.
And it gave me a huge amount of concern to even be doing that. But everybody, who was there was like, "Oh man, are you kidding? We do sessions all the time where the person's just like mumbling
Yeah,
nonsense."
like babbling.
Yeah, and I was like, "Wait, you do?" So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was that was a little bit of a learn for me as well.
Yeah. I mean, as a songwriter myself, I always find it amazing and something I cannot do when people tell me that they write songs by singing gibberish in a melody and
Yeah,
then record it and then go back and create words to fit the gibberish melody. I have never figured that out.
no, likewise.
I do
Yeah,
not understand
I'm
it.
the same.
So you've said I saw that you said that the title track here, Revelator, was sort of like the key. the key song that kind of revealed to you that an album was even sort of being made. Um, what does that what does that mean to you? Like, what does that feel like to you? How do you know that it's unlocking this other thing?
Yeah, there's a part of there's a that's a lot of things actually. I know what you mean by what does that mean because it to say it that way doesn't quite it might not be the right way to say it because I knew I was trying to make an album. I guess the more correct way to say it would be that I it unlocked what that record was, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Because up until then, I might have a number of songs in various states of completion or even not even so much like completion, just kind of like these little snippets of ideas that I don't like one song uh and I don't mean this to sound flippant or something, but like what is one song? You know, like one song doesn't do a lot for me
Yeah.
unless like I just still think of songs as an album. You know, I always think of it, it's like a group of songs that's how it all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Um so when I'm sitting with like these little things, I really it can get kind of it's just directionless, I guess, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden one song will kind of like kick the door down and make sense in a way that uh guides it like answers a lot of questions about what the other ones were trying to be, you know?
Yeah.
Um and honestly that's the thing that I keep like I think talking about that maybe I don't do a great job of it, but I really do feel that there's a very clear place uh when you're working that like the job you're doing I think is just sort of forcing your antennas out and forcing them to stay out and and then things will just kind of start happening in a way that you uh are following them
Hmm.
more so than driving. You know, you're riding in the boat as opposed to driving the boat. Um and I think if once that starts happening, it's generally like the way that I feel like I'm pretty I feel, confident and I'm sure that I'm doing something right.
Hmm. So then Revelator kind of revealed those sort of interconnected themes to
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it was the Revelator in that sense, but it was
Right.
that was a pretty direct it's also not a song about that, but yeah, I liked that it kind of dovetailed with that and it worked. But there's also this thing where it's not even that sort of you know woo or metaphysical or whatever I'm trying to say. It's also just a simple fact of uh, I finished it,
Hmm.
and I was like, that's a complete song, and I think it's pretty good. And before I got the sessions together, I decided to play it for somebody. Uh, and it was doing that that act sometimes is the hardest thing because I don't generally show tunes till they're done. I don't and so you still have questions like, well, is this a song or is this not quite the song or is it a song at all?
Yeah.
You get and so I played it for a couple people and it just clearly was it was acknowledged that it was a good song and that was comforting and also it just kind of felt like right like I know what I'm doing like I can do this I can do this to the other songs too, you know.
Yeah. And is that realization, is that often what leads to your title tracks? Like, is it often the title tracks that do that for you?
It has been the last three records for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why those records are called that in every case. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I thought this one though, to be honest, seemed to be more the other ones uh, I do this one seems more maybe I'm trying to say successful at that thing where I feel like I don't know. I still feel that I'm getting better every record is better than the last one. So, and I feel that this record is, yeah, it's kind of like I feel like it kind of finally got to the, I don't know. I feel like it finally does the thing that I was aiming for on the past few records. I really do
Hmm.
feel like this one kind of does it in a way I am proud of. Yeah.
Yeah. You also mentioned, I thought, a little humorously that you were like kind of nervous about naming this album Revelator because of the
Yeah.
like potential like religious or spiritual underpinnings. Um, I would personally be more nervous about competing with Gillian Welch.
Oh, that was in
Um,
there too. Yeah, make no mistake. I considered that as well, for sure.
I'm mostly joking, but
Yeah, no, no. Yeah, look, I mostly am too, but I'm also not. It definitely. I also feel like it has certain like genre connotations
mm,
that I don't think this record fits into. And I know that that might be confusing for folks. Um, and to be honest, I think it's probably been a little confusing for folks from the beginning with Phosphorescent, or not the beginning, but it's like you put a pedal steel all over records, and then I don't, but then I'm confused why people consider them country leaning. It's like, well, yeah, I guess, but I don't feel that way at all. But I love that instrument and make no mistake about it. But
yeah.
you know what I mean? I feel like there's all these little sort of I don't know. I've just become really aware of how so much stuff has like a I don't know. Like you gotta. I I get the sense that everything is considered in a lot of art and like the commerce part of it, where everything's a signifier, and people I think work quite a bit on making sure that their music is understood as a specific kind of sound,
Hmm.
so the listener already knows that going into it. And I feel like I've done the opposite of that, uh, in a way that I still believe is the right way to do it. But I think it's probably has been a disservice to like, I think an understanding of where this music should live. Because I'm confused too sometimes as where this music should live. You know what I mean? But
Well, I mean, you're totally right. I mean, the genre signifiers just get more complex and also more like I hesitate to say meaningless, but sort of like almost trivial to a degree over the years. Because I mean, you're right. If you throw pedal steel and then have the slightest twang in your voice,
mhm.
nothing you do or say will convince people it's not a country record.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
mean, Revelator, the Gillian Welch record, also is like kind of barely a country record,
Hmm.
only in parts and only kind of in whiffs of country.
Hmm.
And I mean, I would be lying if I said I've never thought of Phosphorescent records as being country leaning, but I
Right,
don't think I consider them country albums,
right.
and that's fine. But then kind of what you're saying, I think, is like, then where, if you need to pigeonhole something, where are we pigeonholing it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly. I think,
What Spotify playlist are you in?
yeah, right. That's the thing. I think,
Yeah.
there was, I mean, I think there was even a discussion still at the label about like um, what to classify this as, and at one point, that question came across my desk, and I was, like, because you even in, like in a CD or when now in digital, obviously there's a metadata section, that says that you as the artist fill in to say like this is a folk record, or this is
Right,
a,
right.
what I mean, or this is a hip hop record or whatever. And at some point that got kicked back down to me, which is again something I don't mean to be like, sound like I'm bitching or something, but it's like I would prefer to never. I just want to make the music. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when it came to me, I was like, good heavens, man, I don't know either. So I don't know. I don't know. And so I guess I can't be grouchy that nobody else knows where to put it either. But yeah, I don't know. I guess in a maybe more direct way of saying it is I take it as a badge of honor that nobody knows where to put it, honestly.
Yeah.
because I don't, the kind of music I like is weird and complex, and I hope I'm making weird and complex music that doesn't just fucking tick the genre signifiers of, that stuff
Right.
drives me crazy. So
Right.
I guess I should be happy that it's unclear.
Yeah, and I mean, Phosphorescent has evolved pretty decently since its beginnings. I mean, the I have it's on my notes to talk about a little bit later, but the first record I heard of yours was Pride, which is quite folky and sort of ambient even, and
Hmm.
like very almost like dream pop influenced, almost like late 90s dream pop influenced and like shoegaze influenced, even though it's all acoustic.
Hmm.
But then that's so different from Revelator. So
Yeah,
I think people do get confused, and I think that's okay.
yeah, yeah. I think in the long game, I'm yeah, happy with all
Yeah, I
these.
mean, who cares? It's all gonna burn down anyway. Who cares?
Oh, hey, is this like, does this get chopped up, or is this just, are we having a conversation that goes right out?
I chop it up if I need to chop it.
Okay. Right. No, right, right. If I start just saying just
Yeah, if you start saying
forgivable things.
off the wall horrible shit,
Ah,
well, I mean, I guess I don't know. If it's horrible enough, maybe I would just post it. But that's not that's never happened.
no, I just mean this isn't like getting transcribed and then is an interview later or something. This is like you
Oh no,
the format of your show is
it's just pure
the
audio.
conversation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I've only I think once had someone email me later and say, "Can we take that part where I talked about that out?"
Okay.
It's very rare. I'm surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised that people don't want to renege what they said.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever have you ever played or covered Revelator? Gillian Welch's Revelator?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Hmm.
Um uh I
I'm just yeah.
yeah, no, no, I have not. I like that record though.
Yeah.
I certainly am not saying that I'm not aware of that record, and I did definitely consider that, like, but it's also, it's not called, it's called Time, right?
It is called Time the Revelator, so
Yeah,
that is different.
yeah. I looked at. Trust me, I looked at it.
You're like I need to know that it's different. Yeah.
But it was one of those things where the record, if I could have, if it would have made sense to call it anything else, I certainly would have. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? I definitely put head space and head time into thinking about it. But in the end, I do think you got to be true to the work and what's going on. And yeah, there was simply no question about what this record should be called,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you also on this album have a song called The World is Ending, which is the first ever not Matthew written Phosphorescent song.
correct.
It's written by your partner Joe. How did that come about? And I'm wondering if it was ever if like there was ever a hesitation from you to include a song not written by you, because it's never happened before.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that it was a hesitation. Uh, Again, these are things that, like, they happen kind of organically, and
Hmm.
then you certainly, you know, you think the thoughts cross your mind, But yeah, she'd written that song when she was working on her record called Altar. Uh and I, you know, thought it was one of the most staggering songs I'd ever heard. Uh and then at a certain point, she doesn't allow me to be involved with her records. Uh and so I wasn't privy to the information of how she was, finalizing her record. And then when she showed it to me, she had left that song off there. Uh, and I thought that was a bold, amazing choice. But then uh, when I had written the song, months later, I was working on Revelator, and the songs were kind of coming together, and it just like sort of struck me that her song, "The World Is Ending," was so perfectly aligned with all the other stuff that was working on, and I just asked her if I could sing it and record it, and she said yes. So it just kind of again, that thing about sort of antennas, and things just start kind of falling into place. I do think that's true. I think that yeah, so it really just fell right in.
Hmm.
Um she had had uh, a different read on that song. She had I, I guess I'm putting words in her mouth, but I'll try to do her I'll try to say her words correctly. But she had thought of it as a one of those songs that can be so sort of tragically dark, but they're also like comically, they become comical because of, I think Randy Newman is a good
Mm.
touchstone of the guy who's sort of the master at that move where you kind of get you're like you're on like a bit of a roller coaster ride with him, like it's like is this kind of a funny song or is this sort of the saddest song I've ever heard? And I think she thought that's what that song was, and it maybe didn't land for her. But I'd never heard it that way. I heard it as straight down the middle, the saddest song I've ever heard,
Mm.
with no wink and no, none of that dancing around stuff. And so it landed perfectly for me. I still think it's a staggeringly beautiful song and really a gut wrencher.
Mm. And I mean, because I mean, you're not a like a co-writer. You're not a invite people on to write for you kind of person. So
Yeah.
it was a surprising move.
Yeah, look, it was surprising to me too, but again,
Yeah.
it happened and it made absolute sense, and I was really I was thankful and still am grateful that she let me record it and that it worked out that way because I think it's a great song and yeah, that to put a fine point on what you're saying, I've never written with somebody else, and I would I don't even know how that would go. I really don't. I don't
Yeah.
know how. I don't even really share. Like I said, I don't even just sharing something in the works with somebody, even after it's pretty far along, I think still has the potential to something about the vulnerability of the unfinished thing. Uh, I think it can be dashed against the rocks
Hmm.
so easily, and I'm really yeah, look, I'm like protective of these little things, you know what I mean? I like
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I feel it's probably a confidence thing, it would be it I guess I say that I would like to maybe pursue that kind of a thing and try it out sometime, but I don't know if that's actually true. Yeah.
I mean, do you take comfort in like when you're finally revealing songs to people if they're done, like
Mhm.
according to you, they're finished, they're recorded, the whole band is on it. Do you take comfort in the sort of like irrevocable quality of that? Like no matter what someone says, like to you, it's already finished.
Yes, actually, yeah, for sure. I think even as far as once it's no, but hang on, I might be stretching that. Let me think. I was gonna say even as early as once I've decided to play it for people at all, but
Mm,
that's not true because they can still be mutable then, and conversations can be had because there's still some things that I have doubts about even up until the very end. That so, but the larger picture of it I think is pretty much settled at that point,
yeah.
and yeah, I feel like uh, yeah, I don't I put for better or worse, what Phosphorescent has released has always been at the time the very best that I thought it could be. It's like I've always like by that point I fully believe in the songs. I fully believe in the recordings.
Hmm.
And obviously time can do different things to that perception. But yeah, I think yeah, I definitely feel strong to stand by it at that point.
Yeah. I want to talk about the song "Poem on the Men's Room's Wall," on the
Mm.
men's room wall.
To
Sorry.
that point, yeah. Here, this is a great example of that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, so when I got the like advance, stream of the record, and
Hmm.
in anticipation of this talk, I like perused the song by song notes, um, and the lyrics. I think before I like finished them before I got to the end of the record, so
Okay.
I already knew about this song before I heard it, but I still wasn't prepared. So for those who don't know, it's like a shocking phosphorescent moment, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. For those who don't know yet, I'm gonna recite the lyrics that begin and finish the song, which are I think the titular poem on the men's room wall.
Mm,
Fear is the mind killer. Beer is the fear killer. This beer is killer. Phyllis Diller is a cock thriller. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's poetry, man.
That's what I think too. I don't know how far your tongue is in the cheek, but
It's a little.
I'm
I would say the most surprising poetic thing about it is the Phyllis Diller reference. I mean, that's a deep
yeah.
cut.
Well,
Um, sort
I,
of.
yeah, no, listen, well, here's, okay, just,
Yeah, start us
it
off.
is, yeah, well, look, it is a poem from a men's room wall that, I had, it's from years ago as well. This is the thing that's, uh, I think strange about it is that I'm talking like, gosh, early days of Phosphorescent. I would play in this club in Atlanta, Georgia, and I would play there as often as they would let me. And so, and it was a dingy rock club, and the bathroom was particularly, rock clubby, and
Hmm.
graffiti everywhere. But by the men's room, by the urinal, like someone had scrawled, "Fear is the mind killer." Uh, and then, a week later when I went, somebody else had come along and written "Beer is the fear killer." And then, next time I went there, so each time something had been added
Hmm.
to where these four sort of unknown geniuses made this really just I don't know, profound and also obviously hilarious and vulgar and great. And I just loved it. And 20 years later, I'm sitting down and writing the song, and that's just what popped into my head. And
Mm.
I realized that, like, yeah, look, I mean, it just made sense that that is how that song would start. And then it kind of bled into this other thing. And then it needed to bookend that song. To me, it's like I don't know. It looks so back to what we were saying before, like it definitely m facilitated some conversations within like the label and even for example Joe she she was like, I don't know about that one, and I was like, well, I I, I don't know either, to be honest, but sometimes I don't know about any of them, and and so yeah, look, that thing got kicked around a lot, and I was like, I don't know, same as other stuff. It's like I tried to beat it. I tried to write something that had that kind of like pathos or whatever that is. I don't know what it is. I think it's beautiful. I really do. Um, and I think that it, it yeah, again, I couldn't it couldn't be another song really. In my mind. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's I also really like that I don't know. I'd like for I'd like to have freedom enough to get weirder than that if you want to in a song.
Right.
You know so it's kind of also just on the but yeah, I think I really do stand by it. I think it's a really beautiful sort of thing of the uh to me it's the camaraderie and the
Mm.
sort of I look I've spent a lot of my life in bars and in the and that the I do think that there's like a now look, I've never written things on a bathroom wall. I don't know where that motivation comes from, but like I do think you can I love the sort of like I don't know, what are we all doing if we're not humans, like reaching out for connections and wit and charm and
Sure.
big just big humor and funny stuff. I don't know. It's a large, it becomes this large soupy thing for me where it's like, I don't know. I love it all. The big mess of stuff.
So did you build the rest of the song out of that, or did you put this into a song that already kind of existed?
No, no, it built the song from that. Yeah.
Okay,
So it was the framework for the song.
got it.
Um, And yeah, because that's the other thing that for example, I mean, I don't know, this feels weird to get so dissecty about songs. I don't I haven't done this much. Uh but yeah, Joe, her take on it was that it was a beautiful song, and it gets marred by that sort of thing, and then but then I, I think you take it away, and then the rest of the song falls apart. To my
Hmm.
mind, it doesn't. Yeah, it needs them all. It needs like the legs that it stands on in my mind or something.
Hmm. I mean, I'm glad that I'm presuming you're gonna cause a lot of people to figure out who Phyllis Diller is. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's not a loss.
Yeah. Well, look, you're really nailing it because that is also another consideration. It's the first time I've ever put someone's, real, like a person, she's a real person, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like putting her in a song. I've never done like pop culture stuff really, I don't think, or like named somebody that's a real alive person. And
Hmm.
that's there's like something to consider there too. And I think the end consensus was that she would love it.
Oh, I
That-
bet I bet she would.
right. That was kind of what the group thought
Yeah.
process kind of was like, oh no, that would be fine.
No. If if she happens to be out there somewhere, I think she's laughing.
There we go. There,
Yeah.
there we go.
Uh but it's funny that that song is the penultimate song because then comes To Get It Right, which is the closer, which is such a like glorious sort of statement kind of finale. And also ends quite optimistically and poetically.
Mm,
The final line, I love the final lines because you say, to get it right is hard to do, 10 or 12 times across the song. And then the
mhm,
last line is, but we get it right. It's what we do.
mhm.
Um, what does a sentiment like that mean to you? And how did it sort of feel like the correct choice to close
Yeah,
this whole record out?
that's a really good actual. That's a good example of what I was talking about when I'm saying that like the record will inform kind of what you're doing at certain points because yeah, look, that song originally was just uh saying to get it right is hard to do, and never, like, it was a really down tempo stripped thing, and it just stayed there and it ended, it was
Hmm.
and it was the kind of thing where I looking at the overall sort of what could easily be, I think, mistaken for defeated nature of this record, or at least the subject matter. I don't think it's defeated, but I can see that it treads close,
Hmm.
and definitely like traffics in that feeling. It yeah, it was like one of those things where you go, I know what to do. Like, we do get it right, and we're fucking getting it right now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, and yeah, and really kind of given the record then the strength, or at least sort of slightly flexing a muscle at the end that has been hinted at throughout the record, and trying to make it what's the word when you take something from being obscured and you bring it to the surface? There's
I
just
should.
making it overt. What's the word I'm looking for?
I should.
Overt,
Okay.
maybe.
I
I
don't know.
don't know.
I should know. I'm an English teacher. I shouldn't be able to help. I should be able to help you, but I'm blanking right now.
Yeah, maybe just making it overt, making that sentiment uh so yeah, that that, and that's again, I don't know what that song would have been without the context of the album um pushing it in that direction,
Hmm.
because it was kind of a lament at first, for sure.
Was it like solo at first?
Well, everything was really back to those original sessions. I was I was playing all the songs with this lineup, but and had everybody in the room, but it was very much like an exercise in making everyone not play almost at all. It's kind of like never letting the drums do what you think drums might naturally want to do at a given point of a song. You know what I mean? But like, just
Mm-hmm.
let's just keep sitting on it, keep sitting on it, keep sitting on it. And so to me, it gave this sort of energy of to me, it was palpable that you could sense that there was the potential for these things to take off, but was an active decision to restrain it, like to just let's just keep it restrained and keep it kind of like an untapped sense of power or something, or like a sense of potential, or that doesn't need to be it's like having like I don't know, like not needing to I'm trying to think of something that's a good example, but I don't know, man. Like not getting a flashy car or wearing a bunch of jewelry or something
Mm.
like just like, but like knowing you could, knowing it was,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Knowing it was there, but then, and then sort of actively choosing not to, was kind of the ethos for this thing. So much so that was kind of how the record was gonna, like okay, it's a little larger than that. I guess when I had these songs and I knew what this record what the songs were about and how they were, to my mind, it felt like it wasn't a big record. And I don't know how to say it other than big or small, but I guess I meant it like it felt to me like it was going to be a very sparse
Mm-hmm.
and small, like produced in a small way, like really intimate and also like obscured. Like I had started doing kind of some weird layering of vocals over it. It was kind of just making it this murky soup that I think was like probably going to be too hard for anybody to get into. It was like it was I think I was putting up a bit of a barrier, and because
Mm-hmm.
it felt like I don't know, it felt like a really really difficult and small record. But then as I started building it and layering it and bringing in these sort of wonderful musicians that came through, it started kind of becoming something else. And that it did take kind of I would say like a substantial turn at about, I don't know, halfway through or something. And I was like, oh wait, I think this record can be sort of this large and big, sort of beautiful, animal.
Mm-hmm.
And to that extent, it ended up getting like in the technical way that worked. It was ended up doing some final mixes out in Los Angeles at Sunset Sound. So I'd worked on it all these months at my studio here in Nashville. And it was about like 90% there, I think. But it was just missing. We hadn't quite turned the corner yet, and it was kind of I didn't realize kind of until later, but I ended up going out there and mixing for just 4 days with this guy Dave Sermonara, and through the big old console at Sunset Sound, we put it to tape. And but what happened, I think the biggest thing that happened during that time was that it went from like a heady record to like a body record. Like the drums, like you feel the fucking drums, they hit
Yeah.
you in the stomach and they hit you like real drums do in really well made records. And I had it, I think, kind of in a more of a headspace, record.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it really like that really was the final thing that kind of made it all come together, was realizing that it is a big and beautiful record. And I think it's so like, I can get hung up in the uh dissecting on whether or not it's a well-written song, or whether or not I sang it well, or whether or not it's doing the thing that it should. But I can tell you for a fact that it's a beautiful sounding record. It's,
Yeah.
like I have no, yeah, like that, just flat out. I'm so proud of the way this record sounds.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is one
yeah,
of, I think, the most like crystal clear produced records that Phosphorescent has made.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
it is very dreamy, but it is also quite dense. And
Hmm.
yet it's also still quite soft. So it is kind of
Yeah,
all these things.
this is the thing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a real magic trick, I think, landing on it.
Yeah.
Was, look, it was a tough record to mix. There's no, it was, yeah, it was a lot. But yeah, I think he nailed it, and it was, yeah, we nailed it. It was really, yeah, I'm proud of the way it sounds.
So you also, this record was made for quite a while, was ready for quite a while. You were working on it for quite a while, but over the past, I feel like it was relatively recently, the past year and a half, you were putting out these covers,
Mm,
which ended up being rounded up into an album that you did release. Songs by people like Stevie Nicks, Lucinda Williams, Randy Newman, who we mentioned earlier. Um, how did you decide to even take on this project, but then also to go about picking these songs?
yeah,
Are these just songs that you loved?
yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I was, I can tell you the exact timeline if you want, because it was the year of 2022. Um, is when I did this, and I put them out every full moon for that
Hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it would have been December of 2021 where coming out of COVID and all that. I played a show in Key West, Florida, a solo show, and I had a couple of days off that I stayed down there. And I was walking one night. It was actually the full moon of December, and I was listening to this Bob Dylan song called "Trying to Get to Heaven." And it was one of those things where I was on being back out and playing shows again. I sunk into to the pandemic, I think, pretty like I convinced myself that it was the first time I'd sat still for that long,
Yeah.
and hadn't been on the road. And I was, I think I had convinced myself that I could just not tour anymore. It was
Yeah.
really nice to be at home and have some stability. And so, anyways, but then a little something about that trip, and also yeah, it just reawakened something about it. And also just that song, it was one of those times where you get every now and then, well, often actually, but it's been a while that for whatever reason a song will latch onto you, and it just seems so perfect that like I'll ruin a song when I get into a song. Like I'll listen to it, you know, hundreds of times. I'll just
Right.
keep, you know what I mean? And it was one of those things I probably listened to it 50 times that night, just kept walking. It was beautiful down there and all that, and the moon was out. And I don't know, the idea came that I was like, I think I might just want to start because okay, and the other thing that was happening was that I was I was supposed to be making a phosphorescent record soon, and that the pressure that was on me a bit.
Yeah.
I had no material at that point, and I also, like I said, had gotten used to the idea of maybe taking it easy and not going right back out on the road and stuff. So, anyways, um, I decided that I wanted to record that song, and also, once I thought I would be recording some songs once a month, I knew that that list would be is still a mile long. Um, and so I thought I was going to maybe record 12 songs or 15 songs or whatever in January, right when I got back to Nashville. I was like immediately like, I'm going to call some folks, let's record some songs, and I'll have them, and I can just put them out on the full moon
Hmm.
while I'm working on this new record, throughout the year.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way at all. And what happened instead was it was midnight before the full moon every month. And I was, sort of frantically finishing up the song of that month. Um, so it took, it was like, it was kind of like what I did that year, honestly. And I,
Yeah.
much to the label's concern, and, you know, uh, and so yeah, so when I initially started, it wasn't even just to think about doing it for that year. I think I kind of half jokingly wrote a thing saying I would try to put out a song for the rest of my life on the full moon. And I still actually do think that might could be possible. But I don't know, you start care, you care about I care about this stuff,
Yeah.
and you want to make it good, and you realize that you can make it good, but making it good takes time. And yeah, it's just so. Um, that's a long way of getting around to what you're asking, I think, which is why those 12 songs? And it was just because they were kind of the first 12 songs that came up. Like I was trying to just be fairly spontaneous about it. But again, the list is a mile long, and if I have the opportunity and had, I would keep going on it, and maybe and I hope to. I do hope to make some more of those because it is. Uh, I like making music, period, right? Full stop. But
Hmm.
I really like making music that doesn't have the sort of weight of whatever. Maybe it's self-imposed because maybe nobody cares. But I I feel a fair amount of concern and pressure when it's a phosphorescent record.
Yeah,
I like to. It's fun. If there's a way to just sort of freely make music without it being a Fosse record. That's exciting to me.
sure. Yeah. I mean, were there any songs that you were like too daunted to take on?
I
Or is that
think,
not something that concerns you?
yeah, no, I think, uh, no, I feel I like to take on anything really. There's certainly no harm in trying stuff. I think there was probably a couple that I started and they fell flat pretty quick, and so I didn't keep going on them.
Yeah.
I can actually think of a couple now that I say that out loud. But that also said, there was like three or four that got recorded in a couple live sessions that I didn't get the chance to keep working on, but they were absolute rippers, and I do hope to get around to them. But
I
yeah.
always think like covering at length is such an interesting practice. Like I remember I interviewed Marissa Nadler a few years back,
Mhm.
and she is known for doing a lot of covers too. And she said she pretty much will cover any song that she loves, but there are just some songs that she's like, why would I cover that?
Right.
Like she named like a Joni Mitchell song and like Wicked Game, and she's like, what am I gonna
Yep.
do for these songs?
Yeah.
But that's kind of where that question comes from. Like, is there sort of do you have any of those sort of like untouchable songs?
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough, actually. I certainly do. Uh, but I do think that if it was, yeah, that's okay. That's a great question. I don't generally come to it in that sense where it's like, uh, I'd like to do this song for like X reason and then hope to achieve Y result that maybe is better than, like it's more organic than that. It's just like I'll get stoked about a song and just like have a go at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm never really. I will say this. Okay, on that tip though, I will say this in that one of the songs that came about truly by accident on the Full Moon Project was Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan,
Mm,
um, which I think would fall square into that category of what y'all were just saying, what you're saying, y'all were
right.
talking about, which is why would you do that? And it didn't happen like that. It really, I was setting up my keyboard player to do an overdub on another song, and he just kind of started playing something that really did sound like Rolling Stone, and we were just kind of goofing around and started kind of singing it, and uh, but then it was like really pretty, and I was like, wait, let's just sing it, let's just do it, and
Well, why
so
not?
yeah, did it exactly like that's what we're here to, uh, yeah, and I think it really came out beautifully, but to your point, like what I've woken up and said, like, what I'm gonna do today is do a ripping version, like really different version of, like a Rolling Stone. Like, no, that never, that
Yeah.
didn't cross my mind ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if I had thought that, I definitely would have said no. But no, I won't.
Right.
So yeah.
So you're touring soon. Like we mentioned earlier, there's about a month between the release and the tour. So you're touring the US mostly in May, and then Europe starts in August. Um, what is this tour kind of looking like for these songs? Are you guys mostly doing the newer material?
Yeah, I'm figuring that out actually as we speak.
Yeah.
I I'm a little I'm a little torn about it. I don't. some of the folks on the record, in the past couple records, I've made a concerted effort to bring the album to life, live, like try to match some of the sounds and try to bring what is on that record to the
Mm-hmm.
live stage. Whereas in the past, I always did the opposite of that, which was just on, whoever the people that could play would be there, and then whatever we played on that given night was what the song was for that night.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of leaning to going back to that as a thing for this one because it does feel it's a little more fun on a night to night basis to try to really I mean, we still stayed really free with these songs. Don't get me wrong. It's never been like a we never had a click track or anything going
Yeah.
that we've
It's not
got to play.
karaoke.
Yeah, exactly. It's never been that locked in, but it is more
Yeah.
locked in when you have a certain, structure that is, we all agreed it's going to do like this and we're going to play these instruments because that's the sound we've decided. Whereas, if it's a whole nother shifting group of people, like it's going to sound different on a different night. And I think that's feeling pretty exciting to me right now. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can make it to any of the shows, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to check in on that.
Oh, there'll
I
be
know.
more too. There'll be more. Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to end up on the. You said you're in on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're definitely. This is just sort of the first little initial run
Yeah.
of dates, and I think uh, back again to what you said in the very beginning. Uh, the we couldn't wait too long, so that's why there's this initial run. But the larger idea is, in fact, still to like give people. I think it's a slow burn of a record. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
going to take. I think probably for people to even have the chance to hear it and maybe get into it will probably take a little bit. So I think, maybe in the fall we're talking about like some real, larger headlining tours and stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool. That'll be something to look forward to, especially. Phosphorescent feels like a fall band.
Tell me about it, man. It feels I was just having this conversation a minute ago well, on another interview that but it was kind of a different question, but it was talking about sort of what are these songs and what is it, how does it feel to do them over and over? And I just came off a week of doing them solo at these radio stations,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's all like, so I guess what I'm trying to say is not only just seasonal, but very specifically playing these songs alone at a radio station at like 11 a.m. or noon uh, in a bright, it feels truly insane. Like it doesn't feel like it's the right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it feels. I agree. It feels like a. It's always felt like nighttime music to me, for
Yeah.
sure.
And especially for me, because I first found you through Pride, which to me is such a nighttime album.
It's a nighttime record for sure.
That is like a 2 a.m.
Yeah, yeah,
brisk drive kind of album.
yeah.
Um, all right, so Revelator, the new album, is out April 5th on Verve. Thank you, Matthew, so much. It's been
Thank you,
such a
Jeremy.
pleasure getting to chat
Yeah.
with you.
Thanks for the nice conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you so much.
Bye, man. See you soon out there.
All right, take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.